2, 1. Let's go. Here we go. And I don't have my camera on. What an idiot. This is what happens when you do a live show, people. 1 second. What an idiot. Can't take myself anywhere, people. All right. Are we here? Oh, yeah. Okay. And I'm floating. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Derek O'Shea Show. Sorry about, like, the worst intro ever. I should just end my career forever on this show. But we got so much going on. Get in the chat. Tell me how you're doing. Tell me how you're feeling. And let's get the show started.
Welcome to the revolution.
What's up? Let me fix my camera now. You know, this is part of life now, because, good Lord, what in the heck? Okay. You know, it's Monday, people. We're trying to get stuff together. We're getting our lives together. We're doing things, new things. And I got these weird wired headphones in, so new things happening at the Derek O'Shea Show. Happy Monday. Let's start off the show with a little rest in peace, a little tribute to my grandmother, Estelle Harris, R.I.P. Easily one of the funniest gingers on the planet. Her roles as George's mother is the best. Georgie! Estelle Harris, one of the greatest, definitely one of the greatest female comics, if not comics, to ever walk the earth. What a pleasure to listen to her talk. But let's get into the news right away. I woke up this morning super pumped out of my mind seeing that Elon Musk was not just flirting with us last week. On March 25th, Elon Musk put out a tweet on March 25th saying, "Free speech is essential to a functioning democracy. Do you believe Twitter rigorously adheres to this principle?" And he put out a poll for people to sign, people to look up, people to check out. And you know, obviously, majority, well over majority, high percentage, 70% said no. They do not believe that Twitter rigorously adheres to the this principle of freedom of speech. And much people like myself and maybe like yourself, I see Twitter as like the new public sphere, the new public circle of where, you know, back in the day where people would go to a circle or a park and people would stand on a podium and then they would talk and give the news of the day, or they would, you know, a lot of preachers would do that back in the day and preach the gospel and stuff like that. So it's essential for us as human beings to have some kind of capacity, some kind of way for us to get together and have real conversations and to hear truth. They hear different opinions, even if they're wrong, even if they're totally nuts, even if they come out and say, the earth is flat, bro. The earth is flat. Nope. No joke. The earth is flat, and that needs to have those people need to have equally as much of a voice as you and me. So Elon Musk put that out on the 25th, and he said the consequences of this poll will be important. Please vote carefully. And then I woke up this morning that he bought 10% stake in Twitter. And who gets mad? Who gets mad of an African-American man buying 10% stake in Twitter? Who gets mad? But the leftists. My favorite part was waking up to this tweet first thing in the morning is from Disclose. They're a decent. If you don't follow Disclose on Twitter, you should. They provide really good information. But I woke up this morning saying Elon Musk bought $3 billion stake, 9.2% in Twitter, and is now the platform's largest stakeholder. And this guy comes out and tweets, "My name is Jackson Mulholland. I am one of the many people here working at Twitter in charge of developing terms and conditions for users. We're not stripping away freedom of speech. We're protecting users from bullies, bigots, and spam. I refuse to work for Elon Musk. I'm resigning. It's much like some of the teachers that are coming out of Florida coming and saying, I'm not going to, if I can't talk about myself and my sexuality, I don't want to teach. And people are like, yeah. Bye. But what an awesome tweet to come up to. It's so funny that freedom of speech, allowing people to have a voice, is so triggering. But it's funny because it's on the people they want to dismiss, the people what they want to censor are people on the right. It's not people on the left. Because people on the left come up and they say the most insane things to me on Twitter. They come and say the same and crazy things to me on YouTube, Instagram, and I don't care. I could freaking care less. But if you're on the right and you're in some capacity seen as a bully or just having a different opinion that's not of the state, you should be stripped of all your services. And everyone immediately jumped on the train of, Elon, let Trump back on. Let Trump back on. And who would you like to see back on Twitter is my question. Some of my favorite people underneath were tweeting like, everyone owes Elon Musk and Joe Rogan an apology. Who agrees? Elon just became Twitter's largest stakeholder. He should buy Facebook next. And everyone's saying, you should buy Disney. You should buy CNN and just dismiss it. China should not be allowed to buy farmland in this country. And there's that. And then I found this tweet from Liz Wheeler saying, this is the things that Elon Musk should do in regards to, since he is the major stakeholder now in Twitter. Buy all of it. Buy the rest of it. What are you doing? That was my thought too. It's like, yes, 10% is great, but then there's still 90% out there. End shadow banning, which people call is like a conspiracy and just protecting users, and maybe you're just not engageable enough, but I've seen it myself where people will try to type in a name, try to type in public figure names, or just some of my friends with podcasts, and you can't find their information. Stop misinformation warnings, which I love, because who's in charge of what? Who decides what's misinformation, what's not misinformation? Don't ban science, gender, and COVID, which I love. That goes in line with misinformation. Reinstate Alex Bernson, Robert Malone, President Trump, and Babylon Bee. And how about Alex Jones? And then commit to freedom of speech. Babylon Bee being taken down is exactly why I have a problem with censorship, because obviously they're joking. And you shouldn't take down comedians unless your name's Will Smith and you got to keep your wife's name out your mouth. Mark Twain once said, censorship is telling a man he can not have steak because a baby can't chew it. And that was so many of us during COVID, so many of us during elections, is that you're not allowed to have these wrong think. You're not allowed to have a different opinion because the babies in the world cannot chew the steak. They need to be dictated, and your life needs to you need to lay your life down for the other instead of them being okay with not knowing something or a dissenting opinion. My favorite part to do today as well was that the White House decided, you know what, it's not enough for content creators or newspapers or Elon Musk himself weighing in, as Elon Musk actually just tweeted. I didn't add it. Elon Musk just tweeted, should I add a Twitter edit button? Yes. No. And I'm going to say no. I don't think you should add an edit button because I want to hold newspapers accountable for the things that they've tweeted in the past, politicians accountable, and anybody with a blue check mark. All those people should be held accountable for things that they said in the past, especially when it has to do with elections and any kind of things that what they once were misinformation or now is totally information. Because with an edit button, they can go back in time and just edit stuff out. So here's the White House being asked about Elon Musk, because you know, Elon isn't the biggest friend of the White House, as the reporter says. The friend. Like, we're supposed to be all friends. Like, when Brian Stelter asked Jensaki, what is there anything more we can do for you in the White House? Because it's important for me to know how to best serve you, Jen. Okay, let's listen to this question.
I have a quick question on Elon Musk and him picking up a 9% stake in Twitter, which makes him the largest shareholder in the company. Obviously, the White House uses Twitter quite extensively, and Musk has been very critical of President Biden. I'm wondering if there is perhaps any recalibration of the use of the platform, or to what extent, the White House is using Twitter.
I love that that's even a question. It's like, if you're against Joe Biden, should you be worried that Elon is going to allow people just to have different opinions out there? It's so insane.
It's a decision of a private sector leader. I don't have any specific comment on it.
Exactly. But it's funny when she's like, I don't have any comment on it, except for when Facebook was not taking down enough misinformation posts during COVID. We won't talk about that, of course.
I expect we will continue to use Twitter, as you all will as well, I would expect.
So Elon Musk did the impossible. What once was a tweet about, hey, I'm just curious, what are your thoughts? Is Twitter a space that allows people to have different opinions, dissenting opinions, to have freedom of speech, to allow people to have conversation with one another, to grow in knowledge, to share information and not be labeled misinformation or as anti-science or anti-vax or whatever crap, and you can just have, or like anti-Ukraine right now. If you say you don't want to go to war, all of a sudden you're against Ukraine in some capacity, which is just insane. We need a space. The American people, especially, we have grown up on this idea. I know some of our younger generations maybe are not on the same board of us, but somebody like me grew up in a generation of that censorship was not a good thing. I grew up in the generation when they started putting parental advisory stickers on CDs. And that only made me, as a teenager, want to buy that CD more. I didn't pull back a little less because I saw a parental advisory sticker. Eric Adams. What's up, Sexy Groove? Eric Adams putting 2-year-olds back in masks. Yeah, exactly. There's another thing. Without Twitter, without a platform to allow people to have conversations, we can't hold our politicians accountable. They can just escape through life. They cannot be held accountable for actions that they've held, and they can't. We need a space. And so Elon coming in and buying Twitter, which I hope he continues to buy the rest of it. I hope they just allow him to buy it and everyone quits that is mad about censorship. I hope they all leave and they can go have their safe space platform somewhere else. They can make their own parlor. They can call it Lefterler. I don't know. But we need a space like Twitter. Let me know your thoughts. Next story. Dude, Sexy Groove. Yeah, Eric Adams putting 2 years. Eric Adams is a piece of crap. And the things he came out today talking about how he's using taxpayer dollars to put up ads all over Florida, letting people know that they can come and be free in New York. In my way, I know that's like a gotcha moment for Ron DeSantis, as they had a whole speech about how Ron DeSantis is this evil person today. But they want all the people that left for Florida back in New York so bad, especially the rich people. And they're like, come back. We're free. You can be free, but you're still going to get mugged. Oh. And speaking of censorship, okay. Speaking of censorship, the whole the left wing, and how they've been handling Ketanji Brown Jackson, Supreme Court Justice, as I've seen constant things about how they have been, as Dick Durbin says, Republicans accuse Jackson of vile things in front of family. And I've seen things like, this is the most horrific hearing ever, as if they don't remember Brett Kavanaugh whatsoever. But here's Marsha Blackburn, who was just made fun of on SNL for having a dissenting opinion. How dare you, Marsha? And you got a Southern accent. So apparently in the North, if you have a Southern accent, it means you're an idiot. If you're a Northerner, which is always sad. Killer T-Sale says, I wanted Truth Social to turn to Twitter and to such a... yeah. Not that it isn't now, but I want to know... I want it known by everyone that Twitter is for gun leftists who cannot survive the debate. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Cannot survive. It's not even like surviving the debate. I get owned in debates sometimes, and because sometimes I don't know everything, and that's okay to be. We have such a weird generation of people who, instead of saying I don't know and just okay with not knowing something and not knowing how to cope in a moment of feeling small and insignificant in like a debate, we have poor coping mechanisms as a country, where we want our safe spaces, we want our platforms to be free of bigotry, whatever that means. It doesn't even mean what it used to mean. It's like some of these like KKK, like racism doesn't mean what it used to mean. I remember a time when you would walk up to a racist and be like, dude, are you a racist? And they'd be like, yes. And you're like, okay, yes, thank you for confirming. Now it's like, is that person racist? I don't, they don't know it. Even though, they have friends from different multicultural races and stuff like that, they're still not woke enough for me. But here's Marsha Blackburn coming out and just continuing to talk about censorship, which is so great that this whole show is about censorship, it feels like. And then the Ketanji Brown hearings, as if they're like the most evil questions on earth. Like asking another woman, how does she define a woman? That's like the most triggering question to these people, because they look at you like, what do you mean, how do you define a woman? What are you, stupid? Okay, so here's Marsha Blackburn right here.
We want to make one thing clear. Questions are not attacks.
God, preach.
Confirming a Supreme Court justice is one of our most important duties as United States senators. This is a lifetime appointment, and it would be a dereliction of duty to our constituents not to ask tough questions.
Preach. Exactly. They're just asking, in my view, not tough questions. You want to ask me what a woman is, I will happily define it for you. Or I would say, this is what I believe is to be true. I would never say, I'm not a biologist, I can't answer that. So it's just such a stupid answer. The left cannot survive basic objective facts. Killer T-Cell, they don't believe in objective facts. They don't believe in objectivism. They believe in a subjective nature, a postmodernist theory of that your truth is your truth, and it's based on cultural norms and your background and some of the things you've grown up to believe and stuff like that, and just your lived experience. And that dictates more of facts more than objectivity. And objectivity is seen as a white Anglo-Saxon way of viewing the world. And that's what racism looks like. All right. Speaking of racism, look at this story. Black Lives Matter purchased $6 million Los Angeles mansion with donor money. Oh, you hate to see it. Oh, sometimes with a live show, you're just not going to be perfect all the time. $6 million Los Angeles mansion with donor money. And there she is. And they did a little filming, and they had their little content creator sessions, which I love. $6 million. Praise God. Black Lives Matter network founder used a man with close business ties to a charity co-founder, Patrice Couleurs, to purchase a luxury mansion with charity cash resources, according to a report of the New York Magazine. The property purchase came just 2 weeks after Black Lives Matter received a $66.5 million cash infusion from its fiscal sponsor in October 6th of 2020. 6 days after Dane Pascal purchased the studio mansion in cash, he transferred the property deed to an LLC apparently named after the property's address. Public records show. You hate to see it. I mean, the minute I saw Black Lives Matter, and it was more than just a groundswell movement of normal, everyday people, and the minute corporations got involved, you just knew it was going to end up like this, didn't you? I mean, I know you're not allowed to have that conversation, but this is where we're at. They're millionaires. They're basically Joel Olsteins for the left. Why the preacher gotta have an airplane? Why the preacher gotta have a mansion? Aha. God, it's just, I'm so glad I never gave to that organization. It was funny how people would never read their website talking about taking down the nuclear family and everything like that. America's Guard, I missed you too. I missed you, dude. But look at her. Just look at her. She's like, I just got me a $6 million mansion, and you ain't doing nothing. What you doing with your life? I love white privilege. Oh, it's just so silly. And I can say that because my stepmom's black. So, that's not a joke either. Okay. Remember last Friday, and I talked about all you need is love meeting money. So true. Last Friday, I talked about freaking Trump's phone logs. They're not quite all there, are they? And turned out CNN totally debunked it and said everything about his phone logs for January 6th are totally normal. But some people aren't done. And our boy right here, Jamie Raskin, had to come out and double down, didn't he? Because, the conspiracy theorists are all those people on the right, all those wacko nut jobs, those QAnon folk, which is basically everybody who voted for Trump in their eyes. You can't question anything, but you're allowed to go down this hole no matter if it's been debunked or not. I'm here for it, though. But here's Jamie talking about it as if it's still logical information we should have a discussion about, because that's where we're at. And I'm glad Face the Nation, nothing says facing the nation and culturally relevant than continuing to talk about a story that's been debunked because it's about Trump. Here we go.
7-hour gap. You have subpoenaed the former president's assistant, Molly Michael. I know you've been trying to figure out.
First it was a 6-hour gap. Now it's a 7. Tomorrow it's going to be 8. Fantastic.
From staff, what happened? Do you have any insight?
Well, it's a very unusual thing for us to find that suddenly everything goes dark for a 7-hour period in terms of tracking the movements and the conversations of the president.
What about poopies? Did you track those too?
Some things we've been able to piece together from other people's interviews and depositions that we know took place during that time. We are aware of other phone calls that took place during that time that included the president, but we have no comprehensive, fine-grained portrait of what was going on during that period, and that's obviously of intense interest to us.
God. I need to know what he's doing at all times, at all days, and what he's thinking, and his journals, and his text messages, his snaps, and his DMs, because there's some thirsty DMs on there of middle-aged women. Donald, come get me, baby. That's not a conspiracy theory. Conspiracy theory. Truth is 6 months or so. Exactly. Oh my gosh. If you're on the left, you can go down the conspiracy route all you want. But if you're on the right, shut it down. It's just so silly. But, this is where we're at. Thank God. All right. I had to do it. True Social. Maybe one of the worst app rollouts I've ever seen in my life with so much hype. I got into an argument with my grandpa because he loves Trump with all his heart, soul, and mind that I said, I bet True Social is going to suck. And he was so mad at me. And now that I'm right, he's so mad at me. It's just harder. I don't know. But okay, so this came out today. You can still be a great president and have a crappy app. That's the thing. 2 key factors: executive quit Truth Social after trouble app launch. John Adams and Bill Bozer, the company's chief technology and product development, joined the venture last year and quickly became the central players in its bid to build a social media empire. Less than a year later, both resigned in their senior posts at a critical juncture for the company's smartphone app release plans, according to two familiar sources with the venture. The departures followed the troubled launch in the company app February 20th. America's Garden in my chat says Truth Social is great, but it takes forever to get in. Yeah, I'm still trying to get in. I've stayed at the same number forever. I think I'm number like 250,000 to get in, and it hasn't moved one bit. It's like, what is Trump doing? Okay, I'll let you in. Okay, you can go in. No. I don't understand what's going on. It's the infrastructure, it's the rollout. But now that Elon has bought Twitter, it's like, do you need Truth Social? I don't know. You tell me. I'm sure all the blue check marks who are on places like Twitter are going to be like, absolutely not. But people like me who are just struggling to grow due to shadow banning, a new account, whatever, loser, all those things combined, it's hard to grow on Twitter. Just is. So I thought, all these other apps I grow way faster on because they don't have, their algorithms are just not catered to only CNN and MSNBC and promoted CBS tweets that I always see on Twitter. I always see a stupid promoted CBS tweet. America's Guard, you got in? What? How did you get in but not me? I gotta put some more. American flags on my profile or something. I'm just getting screwed. I need to be like America's Derek O'Shea show. I got gypped, dude. Okay. Okay. I'm not offended that you got in, True America's Guard, but is anybody else in the chat get on in? I'm currently live on Rumble, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and that's it. Yeah, I'm never going to get in. That's what she said. All right, okay. All right, next video. Look. It's not even funny anymore. All right? This man needs to be held accountable for things he's saying. You can't keep covering for him. You can't do it. So here is Biden saying a complete lie. But he'll just keep repeating it and be allowed to repeat it because he's a Democrat. No other reason. Not because he's just super progressive leftist, because he has a D in front of his name. I also have a D in front of my name, but I don't get away with stuff. I just recently got my account banned permanently on TikTok. And I had to go about the process to appeal it, and I thought, shoot, I might not ever be on TikTok again, which is fine. I'll just make another account because I don't give a crap, and I'll just keep posting because I do this for fun. I don't do this because it's like midlife crisis or whatever. But America's Garden in chat says he needs to be held accountable for many things. Exactly. And here's another thing. So here's Biden today talking about that. He used to be a truck driver.
I used to drive a truck. It's a long story. Anyway, it's getting hard. And I thought I was going to get to drive one of these suckers today. But anyway, it's another story, too.
He's never driven a truck. He's never driven, especially a semi-truck. And maybe not a truck ever. But he's allowed to just say these things. He's a pathological liar. He's around trucks. He just gave a speech about electric trucks, so he feels the need to connect with his audience. So he just makes up a story and continues to talk about it like it's truth. How is this allowed to happen? And note the funniest part of this is that me talking about him being a pathological liar or just lying, I will get a label like misinformation or I'll get my account banned because I am calling out the lie. That's how crazy of a world we're in. Ugh. Allegedly, they're tying up loose ends. He drove a truck into his Oh, right. He never drove a semi-truck. He needs to be held accountable for, yeah. I just can't believe he said that. He's like, not only has he said this before and people have debunked it and people have talked about it, it's like he can't stop. He can't hold himself back. He has to do it.
I used to drive a truck. It's a long story. Anyway, it's getting hard. And I thought I was going to get to drive one of these suckers today. But anyway, it's another.
Could you imagine Joe Biden driving a freaking semi down the road? It's like the scariest picture I've ever seen in my life. All right. Lizard people cannot stop. Yeah. Exactly. Freaking lizards, dude. All right. Here we go. There's a video of the Daily Wire asking New Yorkers if the Ukraine war has changed their opinion on guns, which is such a funny conversation as they hand out guns to their everyday citizen. But let's listen.
But in a world where the bad guys have them, I don't know, I kind of feel like the good guys need to have them too.
It's tricky. I don't know. I don't even think cops need them.
What?
If that doesn't define what privilege is, I don't know what is. If you don't think cops should have guns, you've never lived in a dangerous neighborhood. I've lived in Chicago. I've gone to sleep with hearing gunshots ringing out. Those cops should have whatever guns they want because it's a war zone out there. If you're in a little gated community, you have your little pool and you're worried about people swimming in your pool that are different than you, just leave it at that. You might believe that cops don't need to have guns. It's like these rich politicians talking about what cops should do and shouldn't do. Like, yeah, because your greatest threat is somebody illegally parking on the wrong side of the street or blocking your mailbox. Like that's, or not mowing the lawn properly or a weed growing across your fence. These are your things you're worried about.
I'm Mommy Horowitz, and one of the reasons why the Russian army has been stalled in Ukraine is because the Ukrainian government has armed Ukrainian citizens to fight against the Russians. I'm here in New York to ask people who are against the Second Amendment what they think of that policy. And one of the reasons why they were able to fight back so hard is because the Ukrainian government has been arming its people and saying we're going to fight in the streets, we're going to push them back everywhere they are. Do you think that was a good idea?
Yeah, I think it was a good idea, like when it's a final resort to, protecting, the ones you love.
The Ukrainian government has been arming its citizens so they can fight the Russian army on the streets.
America's Guard, take it easy, man. Exactly. Elections have vast consequences.
Their homes, anywhere. Any thoughts on that?
I think that's good.
I totally agree with you, man. Peace out.
Probably, yeah. I mean, it's good they're not going silently.
I think it's a very brave thing they're doing. Proud of them.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that's great.
When I first read that, it was very upsetting to me because I'm very anti-guns.
Yeah.
It's very upsetting. But I'm very impressed by the way they've dealt with that, and I think it's really powerful the way they've come together.
If the citizens are able to drive out the Russian army with the guns, that means they worked.
Oh, 100%, 100%. I really do take pride in people like that, like with us being an allyship with them.
Protecting themselves.
Yeah, protecting themselves and their country is
She's based.
very, so much strength for them.
It's inspiring.
Yeah, 100%.
If you're not willing to defend your land, and they absolutely have, and they've done an absolutely beautiful job of it.
There is something about trying to defend your place of being able.
Your place of being? Wait, was that a question? Is there? It's nice to defend your place of being? Why does a guy talk like that and have a mask on outside? It's just, you can't make this up.
To try to defend themselves is very admirable and good.
Love it.
That's right.
Very admirable and good? God, this freaking generation, how they talk. I don't know things that are happening. I'm feeling pretty good today.
Amazing what they've been doing that. You think that was a good idea?
I think that was a great idea.
In some ways, it make you kind of rethink your position on the Second Amendment here in the United States?
Not at all. Not really.
No? Why not?
I mean, I think... Is it okay if I go to class?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. Have a good day.
I actually had to get going. Sorry about that.
I figured that that's what this was like going to be about. I just think that there's a lot, and like Ukraine is a very different country than America.
How so? Have you been to some of our cities? Oh wait, you're in New York.
And I just think it's like largely about like different factors like involved.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I do have to get to class.
No
I'm
problem.
so sorry.
I love the old, I have to get to class, I don't want to answer that question response.
I actually haven't given any thought to that, to be honest.
Now give some thought.
Yeah, I think I should
Give it
definitely
up to-
look into that a little bit more.
First of all, give it up to this girl. She seems the most honest interviewer.
I haven't even thought about that at all.
Watching what happened in Ukraine kind of make you think more about the Second Amendment.
For sure.
And the way that you may change the way you thought about it.
For sure.
It's definitely something to consider because it's like that's the only way that you can oppose a force like that. If you don't have it, then like, you know, you're probably just going to get run over immediately.
Right.
Which is, it's true. It's definitely something to consider. And it's definitely something to add into like the discussion of the Second Amendment.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think so. Makes you rethink a lot of things, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's definitely something to consider. That's like I haven't thought about. That's really interesting. Something to think on.
Yeah, but also brings focus to
Issues that you may not have thought about before, like in that way.
I think like it is something that we should be focusing on and like something that, yeah.
But no, I mean, it is obviously everybody, I think everybody when they see things like this can't help but wonder.
And rethink maybe.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need like an outside event to make you kind of reframe
Exactly.
your thinking.
Yeah.
And this might be one of those.
It's true.
You know, the more dangerous New York gets, that more the Second Amendment conversation becomes not so funny after all, or not the most nuanced conversation. It's more of an honest conversation of, oh crap, I need to have the ability to own a weapon for my own protection because I don't trust A, other governments coming in, and B, my own government deciding I need to have an executive order against you because A, B, and C. It's important to think through these issues, especially if you're not for guns. And I'm happy to have you if you're a part of my platform, but I think you should have the right to own whatever you want. You heard me there. All right, next. Do I want to listen to that one, or do I want to... Let's get this one first. All right. Jensaki today was asked about what are we going to do about these war crimes they keep talking about? Are we just going to, send Putin a little DM? Hey, man, feel free to show up at the courthouse anytime soon.
Judge what the process would work. Go ahead.
Thank you, Jen. So President Biden is talking about putting Putin on a wartime trial. Does he expect Putin to turn himself in to stand trial, or does he think somebody's going to have to go into Russia and arrest him?
Well, without getting into the mechanisms, which I know were the good questions everybody was asking our national security advisor, there is precedent in the past of how this process can work. We're not going to prejudge what the process would work or what steps would be taken through an international legal process. So that's not quite where we're at right now, Peter, and I can't give you a sense of the mechanisms of if convicted, what would happen.
Basically, we have no idea. And I don't even know what to think. I still cannot tell what is propaganda and what's truth. It's just, I don't understand how you could be so one-sided on some of these issues, because there's just too much evidence that there's been propaganda in this war. So just because something like is egregious or fits your narrative, you just have to believe it. I'm struggling. It's like I want to believe it all, and I want to believe none of it. It's so hard to be like, oh, I only believe this source because Russia lies and Ukraine doesn't, or the other way around. I only believe this source because Russia doesn't lie and Ukraine does. Like, I don't. Who are these people that are just so confident in their own propaganda during wartime. I don't know who these people are. I don't want to be their friends anyways. Okay. Oh, the Florida bill. Let's do this. All right. Jensaki was also asked about Florida and the Don't Say Gay bill, which doesn't say that in the bill whatsoever, but they still say it. They still say it because they don't care. They assume you'll never look into it. They assume you'll never read it. They'll say it over and over again, even if there's billboards and video after video saying they're lying. They don't care because it creates an emotional response, and then it creates songs that we'll get into later. But here's Jen.
What about this new law in Florida? At what age does the White House think that students should be taught about sexual orientation and gender identity?
Which is a funny question, for one, because it's a little bit of a gotcha, but also has merit because Joe Biden did stick his nose into it and talked about how it's going to hurt people everywhere. It's going to end with more suicide. It's going to be, you heard him talking about the bill, so it's a fair question of, okay, so if you're against the bill, what age should be taught? Should sex be talked about? And you should listen to her response, because it's just straight out of the book of Ketanji Brown Jackson.
And what about this new law in Florida? At what age does the White House think that students should be taught about sexual orientation and gender identity?
Well, I would say, first of all, Peter, we have spoken to the Don't Say Gay bill in the past, I believe is what you're referring to.
Don't say gay? Don't say gay, Governor DeSantis. Say gay. God, that actor. Every time I hear it now, all I can hear is that stupid actor from Hellboy screaming, "Don't say gay," which again has nothing to do with the bill, but here we are.
And made clear that as we look at this law, what we think it's a reflection of is politicians in Florida propagating misinformed, hateful policies that do absolutely nothing to address the real issues. The Department of Education is well positioned and ready to evaluate what to do next, and its implementation, whether its implementation violates federal civil rights law. But I would note that parents across the country,
Mika, what up? How you doing?
Are looking to national, state, and district leaders to support our nation's students, to ensure that kids are treated equally in schools, and that is certainly not, this is not a reflection of that.
And so just the last one. So if you guys oppose this law that bans classroom instruction about sexual orientation and gender identity in K through 3, does the White House support that kind of classroom instruction before kindergarten?
Exactly. It's a fair question.
Do you have examples of schools in Florida that are teaching kindergartners about sex education?
No, we have examples of teachers. Hey, I'm glad you're in the chat. I appreciate you for being here. Mika means so much to me. I'm happy you're here. I hope you're having a great day. What did you do this weekend? Anything super awesome? But I think this is a fair question by Peter. It's like, okay, if you're against the bill, if you think it's a terrible thing, what grade should be taught sexuality? If the government decides to stick their nose in things and they want to be in control of these things, they should have a response to that question. But instead, her response is, do you have any evidence that teachers are teaching this? Yes. Have you seen Libs of TikTok? That's literally all that account does. But I digress. There's not actual curriculum. And this is like another gotcha. It's like, it's not actually CRT. We don't teach CRT and we don't teach sexuality, but our teachers are allowed to talk about it and push this all they want, and also have, gender and LGBTQ flags all around us in classrooms and stuff like that in kindergarten. It's the same thing. And not only that, again, I've worked in education for a long time. Teachers that are like this, they want to have this conversation 24 hours a day. They think it's so great and they want to be celebrated and they want kids to ask them a million questions. I saw it all my life in education. So let's keep listening to this Question.
In K through 3. Does the White House support that kind of classroom instruction before kindergarten?
Do you have examples of schools in Florida that are teaching kindergartners about sex education?
I love that because it's like, just answer the freaking question. Are you doing a gotcha for me? So if I'm not able to answer your question, you're not going to answer my question, and all of a sudden the conversation ends. Is that where we're at? Oh my God, so cool.
Just asking for the president's
Well, I think
opinion.
I think that's a relevant question because I think this is a politically charged, harsh law that is putting parents and LGBTQ plus kids in a very difficult, a heartbreaking circumstance. And so I actually think that's a pretty relevant question. Go ahead.
Why not straight kids? Those kids should have, kindergarten straight kids should have equal opportunity to talk about it. God. It's such a silly argument. That is why she's leaving. She's leaving because I think she's just tired of like defending Biden. She'll be happy to get paid way more defending Biden on MSNBC. That's where she's at.
And what about this new law in Florida?
Okay, we just watched that. I was like, I thought I just clicked that. I'm excited to critique some new Jensaki shows. Because this is what I assume how she answers. Okay, here's Jensaki talking about people like Leah Thomas and her response to the question of should biological males compete in women's sports is exactly out of the page of Ketanji Brown Jackson. It's so beautiful. You hate to see it, but it's like, I can't believe you did this response. Of course you feel inclined to talk about it if it fits your narrative and people are all welcoming of your ideas, but assuming someone pushes back your ideas, you go, hey, I'm not a biologist, okay?
Okay, a question about college sports. In some places like the Ivy League now, there are biological males competing against women. Does the White House think that is fair?
Well, I would note that we're not the governing body for the NCAA.
Hey. We're not the NCAA. In fact, they're more powerful than the White House. But I don't want to have any opinion because we're not the NCAA, so we'll just scapegoat out of this. But we will celebrate and we will talk about it and say it's a huge achievement and progressing in society. And we'll talk about how amazing Leah Thomas is. But if you ask me that question, everything changes.
Or any other system out there that I believe you're probably referring to.
How long did Donna Brazile last on MSNBC or was it CNN? I think it was CNN. But at this point, maybe both. Donna Brazile was also on Fox News, don't forget. Maybe she's still on there. I don't know. Either way, I can't stand these people. None of them. She's just slithering. I don't know. It's just, I don't understand how some of these people can make a living off of, gray area lies all the time. Like, that would eat me alive eventually. I'd get to the point where I'm like, I can't do this anymore, guys. I can't keep defending Biden. I'm going to say something.
To the case over in swimming in the NCAA.
In swimming?
We understand how important sports are to student athletes across the country. But
again, still not answering the question, but we're going to talk in generalities. And then I'm going to pull you in at the end.
The NCAA obviously puts these policies in place. What I would say, Peter, if we look at this broadly, is that we celebrated International Transgender Day of Visibility last week with a slate of new actions.
Still not answering?
We are continuing. We continue to protect the dignity and identity of all Americans. And
so
at
is
a
it fair?
moment where we're looking at and we're seeing increased mental health issues related to young people, especially LGBTQ plus young people.
What about straight people? Don't care about those mental health issues. They'll just do fine. They're freaking straight.
We're providing additional funding and resources to address this issue, and we hope all leaders can focus on those important issues and the impact on many of these young people who are impacted across the country.
So, is it fair? We're not the NCAA. I don't know how to answer that question. Go back to the back of the room. Oh God. Okay. This song, I might save that for last. Just all right. Speaking of not standing people, where do I want to listen to it? Mika, you tell me. Mika, do you want to watch what Denzel Washington has to say about the Will Smith slap? Because I'm curious, because I know he went up to Will Smith and said something, so I'm curious what his thoughts. Do you want to hear this guy sing a song about that "Don't Say Gay" bill in Florida in a weird way? Or The View? You tell me, Mika. You choose. The clock is yours. Do 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 do. The View. Rather the first. This one, The View. Did I say that? Now you're making me Denzel. All right, good for you. All right. Here's Denzel Washington talking about the slap.
Came back from the Oscars, and congratulations, and hats off and kudos and all of that. But I got to ask you right now, Pastor Washington, you stepped in the middle of World War III. We were looking at Ukraine, and it happened on the Oscars when Will, who I love.
Oh my God, he just compared the slap to freaking Ukraine. We were paying attention to the dead bodies being shot. Aha. And then we saw that Will Smith slap the Chris Rock.
Smack Chris, who I love.
Oh, I love him.
You came in as a senior statesman into that situation. Now, don't let me tell you about it. You tell me, what happened? What happened? What happened to these icons, these legends got into a fight in front of the world? What happened? No, it wasn't a fight. It was just one person slapping the taste out of the other one's mouth.
Well, there's a saying, when the devil ignores you, then you know you're doing something wrong.
Whoa.
Wait, I'm not done now. You know, the devil goes, oh no, leave him alone. Hey, he's my favorite. Don't bother him.
Yeah.
Conversely, when the devil comes at you, maybe it's because you're trying to do something right. And for whatever reason, the devil got a hold of that circumstance.
That's right. Will Smith had no choice in the matter.
That night. And fortunately, there were people there, not just me, but others in the gap. Tyler Perry came immediately right over there with me, and some prayers, you know.
Mika says, I think he lost his mind because Jada is, yeah, exactly. Or she had one, just my opinion. Yeah. He obviously lost his mind. I mean, you get to a point where, as a man, being cheated on over and over and over again, and you just want to, he snapped. He snapped because he hasn't developed good coping mechanisms, or he isn't standing up for himself in the marriage enough. I don't know what it is. I don't want to speak for him, but to say that, like, you need to defend your wife because of a stupid 90s movie joke that nobody freaking remembers except for older people in the crowd is so dumb. It's just dumb. But I wonder what he's going to say as he says that the devil got a hold of Will Smith. There was nothing in his heart that wanted to rage out. It wasn't that he himself has a problem with coping. It's something else. It's always with these people. It's always like, somebody else made me do it. I didn't actually do it.
Keep it. I don't want to say what we talked about, but there but for the grace of God, go any of us.
Yeah.
You know, who are we to condemn? You know?
Nobody condemned. That was the thing, Denzel. People clapped it and celebrated it and then gave him an award and allowed him to cry. That was how it went down. I don't know if you remember, but nobody was condemning him at the ceremony. In fact, immediately after, P. Diddy Combs made a joke about getting together like family and duking it out. But that's exactly what condemnation looks like?
I don't know.
Jada is discussing Will's weak, and that's probably the definition of their marriage. At least from the outside of what it seems like, which is really sad, but also that doesn't mean you can go around and slap people. Imagine the kind of privilege he has in his life to be able to walk up to somebody in their face, slap them on national television, and not go to jail and not face any fines or get a ticket or anything. And then it's me. I'm the one with privilege in comparison to him? Absolutely not.
All the ins and outs of the situation, but I know the only solution was prayer.
Oh!
The way I saw it.
All right, so he's just scapegoating the issue. All right. Big nothing burger. Because Will Smith made it seem like he had his back. And it was a good idea for him to go up and slap him in the face from his speech. But I digress. What do you think? On the Oscars Worldwide TV. I know. I couldn't believe it. It was on TV. And we're just going to act like that didn't happen? Let's check on some of the live news. See what's going on with live news right now. Anything exciting?
Hey, my wife has fallen. She's in really critical condition.
Commercials. Oh, I don't know if you guys saw this. Freaking Sarah Palin's back. I can see Russia from my house. Is back. She's running for Congress. Get in the chat. Let me know what you think about Sarah freaking Palin. Sarah Palin. Let's listen to her talk about running for Congress. I don't know if I should be excited or not. I have no idea. I don't know what she's like anymore. I literally have no idea. I just know that she is easily made fun of, and so probably not the best person to keep representing the Red Party. I'm just thinking. I think she's a twit, says Mika. Yeah, I don't think she doesn't come off when she speaks as very well-rounded. And maybe it's just an accent thing, and I'm being bigoted, and I need to go figure out my own bigotry and my own cultural bias because she doesn't sound like me. But I want to hear what she has to say. Here's Sarah Palin.
Governor, what made you make this very, very big decision? Was it something
I have a new book coming out, and I want everyone to buy it.
Specific?
Well, it is pretty ironic that the needs of our nation today are things that Alaska can.
The needs of our nation today.
Fulfill energy independence, security. And I think Alaska can come into its own now, finally, will be recognized for the Fort Knox that we are, and we can help secure America's sovereignty, our security.
It's basically Fort Knox. We have as much gold as Fort Knox, but in oil. Jesse Waters, and this is my world.
And then with the unfortunate passing of our one and only Congressman, Don Young, who had served for 49 years, who had the fiercest devotion to our state and to our country. With his passing, I knew it was time.
That's beautiful, and it's well said. So energy is going to be a big part of your platform and your agenda in Congress. Besides energy, what else are you going to try to tackle?
I remember when she said her grandbaby was her child. So, now I remember the whole grandbaby teenage daughter vibe. What would you do to save your child? For public opinion, so you stay in your own party lines. She lost me with the politician lying tactic. Yeah. I can't. I think I'm right there with you, Mika. I cannot take politicians lying. I can't do it. It's like, stop trying to pretend like you're clean. We're all pieces of crap. And that's what brings us together, because we all realize how much help we need and how we're not perfect, and we say dumb things. And that's why the whole cancel culture thing is so stupid, and censorship is so stupid, because all of us are so dumb and we need help all the time. And so the idea that we need to lie about who we are in order to put on some facade of everything. Remember the Palins in Alaska? Yes. Oh, yeah, the show. Oh my God.
the needs here in Alaska really are paralleling the needs across the U.S. for a better public education system for our kids. You know, for me, kids.
You think she's as trash as Hillary, Mika? Those are fighting words. I wouldn't go that far. Hillary is like evil on the face of, like, the picture perfect evil. She's maniacal. She'll laugh as she murders Gaddafi in Libya and destroys everyone's lives and doesn't care about, what was that movie, Zero Dark 30, and, you know, the embassy and the Clintons. They're a special kind of special. Palin, she just reminds me of like everything of like older Republicans I never liked. Fakeness, too clean for no reason to be clean. Pretend like everything is perfect, doesn't have a drinking problem, never had a drop of alcohol in her whole life, never danced in public, never saw a rated R movie. Like all the things about the Republican Party that like made me not want to be a Republican early on. It just made me like be more libertarian and just like, I wish we would just get rid of the R's and the D's in front of the names and just have names, and people had to run on platforms and actually had to speak truth to power and tell us what they actually believed in, rather than just relying on whatever endorsement deal they get. You know, Trump endorsed me, Mitt Romney endorsed me, I'm a Ronald Reagan Republican. Like, just be yourself and run on your own platform and tell me why you believe the things that you believe. Imagine that. God, imagine a country where we have politicians that we feel safe around having a conversation that lasts longer than 3 seconds. Thank you, Mika. Derek O'Shea Shade. Boop, boop.
It's first and foremost because I'm a mom, and
there we go. There it is. As soon as like I can't do it with politicians. The minute they start talking about how they're a parent and so they know how you feel, like, okay, cool. You're connecting me. You're connecting your audience. You're showing your humanistic side of you. Now that we don't think you're totally insane, we think you're totally normal, just like us. With your beautiful hair and your multi-million-dollar home, you're just like me. What world are we living in? I'm sorry, I'm out of control. I'll censor myself a little nicer, Mika. No, Mika, open it up. Mika, if there's everything, like, and this goes to anyone that's in the chat, that's, because I have people watching me on the platform. Mika's the most outspoken, and I appreciate her so much. If I ever just not read a portion of your chat or just not your whole chat, it's because I know what you chat is going to get me banned. And so we're still having the conversation, but I'm just having it mentally. Like, so you can put whatever you want in my chat box. I don't care. That's not going to ban me. It's me. So like earlier last week, I got a clip for misinformation on a video, and I was like, misinformation? On this video, I didn't share anything that was like sketchy or anything. It was me talking, like reading out loud one of my chats. And so I was like, just get rid of the video. I don't care. And so they let me back on the platform and all that stuff. And I'm totally against censorship and all that crap. That's why on Rumble, I have some outrageous videos and like especially BitChute in Minds. But so if I ever like not read your comment and I look at it and I just smile or laugh, you know that I read it. Because I'm like, sometimes I'll get things in my chat box and I'm like, yeah, definitely won't read that. Like somebody said bye to me tonight and I was like starting to read it and I was like, I'm not going to read that part. Though I agree with it. I don't want you to get in trouble with my meanness. I've been already chewed out by YouTube police several times. Who cares? Who cares? So I'm on my fourth strike on YouTube. That was number 4 for me. And all these big YouTubers that are just like, I got my first strike. Oh my God, censorship. I'm on 4. And I don't feel like I'm that crazy of a YouTuber. I'm not that out of the box, insane conspiracy theory. I'm not like over the top. I mean, maybe people have called me things like, I don't know how you sleep at night because you make fun of Joe Biden's stammer. And I was just like, because because he's a lying son of a gun, and he should be called out on it. And I have no sympathy or empathy towards people who lie to get in office, or like the media just backs this person no matter what they say. Like, I have no empathy towards that. They need to be called out for what's going on. Like, having empathy and sympathy in that moment is the reason why we have a president and vice president like we have now. So, be as mean as you want. Bring it on, Mika. Let it out. Wait, you got chewed out by YouTube police? How did you get chewed out by the police? Like, do you have a channel or something that I need to check out? Or are you on? Are you making comments that? Also, sometimes I'll post a video on YouTube, and then somebody will write a comment, and I'll just never see it because YouTube holds it for review internally before I even get to see it. And that happens a lot where people are like, "You didn't respond to my comment." I'm like, I never saw it. For calling people fucked up. Some people need to be called it, I don't blame you. Sometimes you gotta let it out.
First and foremost, because I'm a mom. And
she's a mom, not a grandma. She's a mom.
And our security, our nation's security. I don't want to go to war. I don't want to send my sons, my daughters to war. So I'll do whatever I can. Again.
You got an email telling you need to adhere to community guidelines. I get those all the time. Mika, make this place a safer place for all of us. I feel unsafe with you in my chat box. I don't know. Even though you agree with a lot of things I say, my safety is... Well, I'm scared.
Again, as a representative from Alaska to help secure our nation, we have the tools, we have the means to secure our country. Can't wait till Alaska is put to even better use. Huge shoes to fill, though. Don Young was iconic, epic. He, not just his longevity, but such a passion for the last frontier, for our state. He knew.
Hey, Mika, how did you find me on YouTube? Just curious, because I myself tried to look up my videos on YouTube, and I can't find myself all the time, or I'm like down, deregulated, far, far down.
He knew how unique it was. He knew how rich in resources it is, and
she loves to say Alaska.
Big shoes to fill, but just super thankful for the opportunity.
I'm super
thankful.
I
think there's some competition for you up there in Alaska. A lot of people are jumping in. I don't want to assume anything, but I am going to assume that you're going to be in Congress, not just because of who you are, but...
and because you're a stone cold fox.
There's a little bit of a red wave. I don't know if you've heard about it, but I think the wind's at your back this midterm.
We don't get very many red waves in Alaska. Just the green ones, you know what I mean? You came across me in search? Oh, heck yeah, dude. You're a deep diver. Good for you. A lot of my people that find me on search functions find me via DuckDuckGo. So if you ever it's really interesting to see on YouTube. Like, you can't, it's really hard to find me on Google, but you can find me on DuckDuckGo.
Well, I think what has surprised most people who have watched this is we did not expect the Russian military to be so tactically inept. It has been...
Wait, what a silly comment. Russian military is historically known for being tactically inept. Do you not remember World War II where they just threw people in waves over and over and over again at Germany until they just finally conquered them? I mean, I remember reading about how they would throw people in the battle without even freaking ammo, just for a body. You found me on Google, no problem? Justin.
Refugees, nearly half of them children, and that's turning a humanitarian crisis into an educational.
Justin, I know you're Mr. Google himself. I can feel it.
Has this story. Poland working to absorb nearly 2.5 million.
Okay. I don't know if we can take this song. I just feel like we need to hear it. Okay, let's hear what the view. Okay, This is what The View has to say about freaking Sarah Palin running for congressional run, which we just watched, which will be fun. They're totally going to be triggered about it. It's like Trump, Sarah Palin, Mike Pence, any of these names, just trigger them to you know where.
Well, Tim. Look out, world, Sarah.
Okay, Sarah Palin's back. Okay.
Sarah Palin just announced she's returning to politics.
You hear the audience? Oh! Only because you're a Fox. Dudes, thank you. Thank you. Am I as good looking as Sarah Palin?
The former governor of
View triggers you?
Alaska plans
Same.
to run for the congressional seat left vacant by...
The View is like, so Fox News' kryptonite is AOC. The View is for me. I can't help but engage with their garbage. I can't help it. It's so ridiculous. And I can't believe they're a television show that people watch. I cannot believe it. It makes no sense to me. Whoopi Goldberg makes your hair on your neck stand up. Total. Yeah. Better. There's no way I'm better looking than Sarah Palin. She's beautiful.
By the death
and brave. Don't you forget it.
of longtime Alaska Congressman Don Young. Damn it, Don! And she's even picked up an official endorsement from, guess who? Yeah, from he who will not.
The View makes me want to self. Oh my God. She's even picked up an endorsement from guess who? Yeah.
From he who will not be named on this show.
Yeah, he's basically the devil himself. Wait, who's it again?
And people are saying.
I love that people clap for censorship. Yay. Yeah, don't name him. It's actually better that we don't name him or engage with any of his views or personality or personhood, and we don't even look at him as a human being. Yay! This is good for all mankind. This is what progress looks like. Yikes. Sarah Palin is beautiful, and people like her more than I can say for any of us.
Saying, does she actually have a chance here? Does this endorsement stand for what she needs to? Take it all the way.
Why does The View even talk about politics? Why don't they talk about E-News like everyone else? Like, all these people are uniquely qualified, like myself, to talk about politics. No, none of us are. But one of these shows is more ridiculous than the other. I know I'm pretty far up there, but I feel like they're a little bit more ridiculous.
She was ahead of her time. When we look back, she was like a soundbite machine, and she said some interesting things.
Russia from my house.
I can see Russia from my house. Bulldog.
Wait, did Whoopi really go to Epstein? Is that a real thing? I didn't know that. I can't tell if you're making a joke.
Dogs, lipsticks, all this stuff, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, she's so new and amazing, and she doesn't read newspapers. Now that's like a prerequisite for people to run for office.
It is. Well, listen,
Yeah, you gotta read newspapers. Wait, who reads newspapers? Have you ever heard of the internet? Me neither.
She made the announcement.
Lipstick on a pig, not a bulldog.
Lipstick
Sorry,
on a pig.
I insulted both the
Bulldogs would
bulldog
be
and-
very upset.
The announcement came April Fool's Day. So I thought to myself, oh, look, Sarah's got a sense of humor. Isn't this a funny April Fool's joke? And then it's like, oh, okay. Look,
It's not the worst when people explain a joke. It's like, she made it on April Fool's Day. Self-explanatory. The joke is already there. It's like, so, because April Fool's is a day where people do jokes. So I assume she was joking. Do you guys understand why that's funny?
I actually traveled with Sarah Palin for a few weeks during the McCain campaign. I'm still having electroshock therapy. She is a better retail politician than people give her credit for. She works hard. This is a crazy primary. There are at least 50 people running, and it is a statewide congressional seat. In Alaska, there's only one representative, and this man, Don Young, had been there for 49 years. Wow. Everybody but the penguins is running for this seat right now. So,
are there penguins in Alaska? Somebody look that up. I'm gonna say no, but I think she thinks because it's cold, there's penguins there. Lesbian struggle. Wait, I'm gonna look. There's no penguins, right? Somebody look that up and get it in the chat and let me know.
So yes, Donald Trump's endorsement, I think, does make a difference because his base, we know, follows him.
And are totally nuts.
That being said, I think she misses the spotlight. She misses the relevance. She's bored. She wants to be in the thick of it again. And
kind of like yourself.
And the question, I think, for Alaskans is, do they want somebody like Don Young, who was a quintessential Alaskan and all about the state, or do they want a very polarizing national celebrity?
But she's...
Polarizing national celebrity. Like every single Democratic president we have ever had. Oh, no, they're serious. They're much more serious people.
She's been, I think she ran for city council and won like 3 decades ago. I mean,
Here, Justin.
she is a quintessential Alaskan in many respects. I mean, she was the governor of Alaska.
Not for long. Remember, she got the gig, and then she...
Her voice is like, you ever see Dr. Gabe? Hey, welcome to The View. It's me, Whoopi Goldberg.
She left the gig to go try to be vice president.
She did, but there's a lot of name recognition there. I mean, it seems to me that people...
and it's a red state.
Vote for name recognition these
I don't know.
days.
I think people were very
may get
angry
stuck with her.
I think they were very angry with her for dropping out of being the governor.
Yeah.
And going to do something else that didn't work out. I know, go ahead.
Her numbers dropped dramatically.
51 people were running, and that's more than twice in Alaska's history. So, like, it's a pretty, I mean, it's going to be a tough.
Baby did not get back. They're not happy about Sarah Palin. Plus, they don't think she has a chance. And I have no idea. I'm not an authoritative source for Alaska politics. So let me know if you think does Sarah Palin have a chance. Probably. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea. Okay, look at this tweet. All right, we're done with The View. Everyone take a big breath. We're going to do some mindfulness. Name 5 things that you can see. Name 4 things you can smell. Name 3 things you can taste. She dropped out of the governorship to make a reality TV show. Exactly. And not only that, she dropped out too to like become vice president. And you would think that like a bunch of women on a talk show would be celebrating that. No, it's bad. If AOC can win, anyone has a chance. Exactly. Geez, look who's president. Exactly. All right. Look at this tweet I came across today. Emily Winston says, I'd rather pay, this is my, it's my liberal voice. I'd rather pay $20 a gallon than have Trump in office. Give me the thumbs up or retweet if you agree with me. Thirsty tweeter alert. And then Finley, hashtag I stand with Ukraine. 100%. I am a teacher that drives an hour to work every day. These people would rather go broke than go against anything the state has to offer. It's like the state, oh, you want me to do that? I'll put that in my arm. Sure, I'll do that. I'll do that with my body. Sure, I'll do that. What do I need to stand for today? Oh, just tell me and I'll believe in that too. Oh, so when I pay more for gas, it's actually helping Ukraine. That's all that means. If there's no other reason for it, oh, okay, cool. Then I'll pay whatever it costs because I can handle it. God. None of these people on The View can even tell us what a woman is. Exactly. Well, as I've talked about before, people on the left, when they're asked to like define a woman and stuff like that, they look at you like you're crazy. They see you and they see that question as not nuanced enough, not an honest conversation. It's not a postmodern worldview. It's an objective truth. So they look at you like, how dare you bring objectivity within this conversation? How dare you? Derek, man, I'm just enamored with your drive and soon be a massive success. Keep going. Hey, appreciate that. America's the reason these traders have the right to talk about shit. Exactly. I know they should be thankful that there's no such thing as censorship on their show. They are allowed to believe whatever they get to believe. I appreciate you saying that, Justin. I work my you-know-what off working full-time and doing this for funsies. And it's all about for fun. It's all about fun. And I just want to also, apologize because I let my son out of the closet with my suit for the Oscars, and I have been meaning to buy him a suit, and I feel bad about it. It's just he looked ridiculous the other night. How dare? Don't get me wrong, I love the Biebs. but when I saw Justin Bieber wearing this, it's so ridiculous. And what are these? And what are those? God, those shoes were so ridiculous. Oh, we'll save that for later. That's a crazy. All right, we have to watch this. I've been wanting to watch this. This is making circles around all the leftists because, again, they believe the Florida bill is don't say gay. It must be watched.
We are back, and I'm joined now by Ron DeSantis, governor of the great state of... Wait, which is the one that's shaped like a big dick?
Florida.
Oh, right, Florida. Sir, you recently signed into law the controversial Parental Rights in Education bill, which some have called the Don't Say Gay bill, and others have called the Girl Fuck That bill.
I think it's probably the most comprehensive piece of legislation I've seen.
Critics say that this bigoted legislation will rob kids of a safe space to have a healthy discussion about their identities.
With their teacher instead of their parents.
I mean, how would you feel if we signed a bill prohibiting everyone from talking about slimy, self-interested douchebag politicians with no sex appeal who buy all their suits off the clearance rack at Burlington Coat Factory?
We at the state...
Yeah, you broke bastard. Get an electric vehicle.
They can stop that. I look and see how this media operates, this corporate media. What about all the people they've smeared over the years who are not governors?
Someone's being an asshole. That's no way to be. Honey D, here's the tea. Gosh, I'd hate to upset your Republican peers. So let me say this soft so no one hears. I've been.
Here's an interesting fact.
Look at those eyes. God. I'm sorry that I'm forcing you guys to watch this.
Oops, I said it. I'm gay. You can bet it's a badge that I wear with a fabulous flair. 'Cause I'm gay, 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 gay. Sorry. Honey, I'm gay as a drag queen's brassiere. And although you might think that I'm flawed, hey, I'm gay as a Broadway premiere. All your thinly veiled hate is a dangerous trend. It's such a vile cliche, but you'd rather talk straight.
Oh my God. Is this him making fun of white conservatives? I heart titties and beer. That's so dumb. Oh, it's like breaking my brain. I love that this Mika, don't throw up. I love that this is like the response to not being allowed to talk about sexuality with kindergartners. Again, none of these people are trained psychologists. So the fact that they think they know what brain development is in children and what children should be taught and learned is just disingenuous at best.
And I'd hate to offend, so I'll try not to say that I'm.
And again, these kids are allowed to have this conversation with their parents at home. It's just saying that when a kid is in math, they should learn math. Crazy concept. But all these teachers are like, no, it's actually about me, and I want my kids to know who I am first.
As gay as an Easter bouquet, I'm as gay as the cast of Euphoria or a Sephora display.
You go to the jail.
Girl, I'm as fruity as Gaga in Gucci and gorgeously. Ooh, I almost said it again. God, I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me. Hey, Ron DeSantis, hey, gay, gay. Hey, Ron DeSantis, hey, girl, hey. Come on, why can't you say it too? Hey, Ron DeSantis, say it too. There's nothing naughty or risque. There's nothing wrong with LGBTQ.
I'm not backing down.
That's why I say I'm incredibly gay. Though you'd rather I said it much less, I can't help but express it all day.
Stop that.
And should you say
Okay, I can't do it anymore. I know it's almost over. They just don't. None of these people read the bill. None of them. None of them have read the bill. They just assume it's about not talking about gay people. It's not saying the word gay in school. Like, none of these people have read the bill. I don't know how you could be pro LGBTQ and not be against it. You're just like, this conversation should be in a conversation at home with the parents. End of story. Not with a freaking teacher. I've lost my mind. Pronoun pusher tries indoctrinating any of the grandkids to make sure they get a taste of my mind. You have grandkids? Like, I was just like looking at your picture. No way. I don't believe that for a second. I'll make sure they get a taste of my mind. My kids will be ripped from those classrooms as fast as you can say gay. Yeah. It's not an appropriate place for a teacher to have that conversation with any student outside of knowing. And these teachers are like, so, oh, no way. No way. I don't believe it for a second, Mika. This conversation shouldn't happen with teachers. It should happen with parents. And they want to take that part away. They don't want the parents involved more. They like the fact that they liked it before the pandemic when parents didn't care about what their kids learned in school and they could just talk about whatever they want and get away with whatever they want. They miss that. They miss it. Okay. Okay. This is like the craziest video I saw today. It's a must watch all the way through. It's just one of those things that you're like, how's this real life? Okay, here we go. There's no volume. You're like, what's going on? All of a sudden, a guy comes in and look at that. Freaking nuts. I can't imagine just eating down, just having a beer with some friends and watching this go down. And Mickey D's of all places. I thought we were pro Mickey D's after they pulled out of Russia. Look. Dude, this is like the craziest video ever. I can't believe there's no volume. And they just like keep fighting. These people are under the cart. I know. This was like circulating all over the internet today, and I couldn't take my eyes off of it. Seems like something you watch in a movie or something. It just keeps going. He just like hits him, tries to take his moped. And he gets him. It's so nuts. Seriously, this is the best action film I've watched in a while. I love the fact that people are just like sitting there and not watching it. Who are these people? Like this woman who's not watching. I'd be watching the whole time. My face would be pressed up against that window. Like, this is nuts. Just trying to have a good conversation with my family. That car has to be stolen, right? I mean, no one just leaves their car like that. And you know that guy's like, hey, quit filming. You know what happened? You know the reason why this all happened? was over the Don't Say Gay bill. Yeah. God. Oh, it's just crazy. What a crazy world we live in. I'll save that for last. Save that later. All right. Check the live news.
There is also breaking news on Supreme Court nominee Ketanji Brown Jackson. The Senate Judiciary Committee voting on her nomination today. How this played out, where it goes next. And tonight, the news just coming in. 2 more Republican senators now saying they vote to confirm.
Yeah, she's going to be confirmed. That's a no-brainer. Just imagine someone forgot their nuggets. I know.
Surprise playing out across this country. You have got to see the teachers' faces. It's America Strong.
From that woman doesn't. No, she doesn't. But it doesn't matter. Like, I knew she'd be confirmed.
Good evening, and it's great to be back with all of you at home, and it is a very difficult start to the week. The horror.
That's why Lindsey Graham felt so emboldened to pretend like he's like this staunch conservative all of a sudden.
What's now been
even today, he's like, I'm going to say no. I'm the first one. Like, shut up.
In the town
Lindsey.
of Bucha, Ukrainian authorities say they have found
the country
hundreds
is in a
of men,
twilight
women,
zone.
and
I feel like
children
I'm
killed. Some with
I feel like I'm in a twilight zone every day that I wake up and read the headlines, and I'm just like, and then I go to work and I'll talk to people that have no idea what's going on in the world, and it just baffles me that they have no idea and they don't care. It's like there's so many things. Like the other day where Joe Biden came out and said that there's going to be food shortages, and then Klaus Schwab said it, and then all these other major bankers said it, and everyone's like, cool. Like, what world are we in where we're just like, yeah, sick. Like, what the frick is going on? Like, I have so many friends my age that they don't have like emergency food supplies and stuff like that. I got some as soon as right when the pandemic hit is when I started going, oh crap, I need to buy this stuff. So I bought like a bunch of emergency food supplies and stuff like that. And now that I saw, food shortages come down the pipe, I don't feel as scared, but there's some people out there that have no idea. CRN pushes us in the parallel. Yeah.
Warning, they are disturbing.
I feel like we're there.
Tonight, life and death under Russian occupation. The first glimpse of what the Ukrainian government is calling scenes of war crimes. The suburbs of Kyiv, controlled by Russia for weeks, have just been liberated by Ukrainian forces. We headed out to see the first evidence of Russia's horrific atrocities.
Take a look. This is Bucha. And this entire column of Russian vehicles.
Mika, do you find it weird that this seems like one of the only wars out there that we have videos of dead bodies, like destruction of the cities and stuff like that, but like Iraq, Libya, Yemen, there's so many other things going that happened and are going and happened before, and we just didn't get all this video. Why?
Streets.
Because we were a part of it. I just it's so weird to me.
Another appears to have been
because we were doing our special operation.
A small
like
bag
this.
of groceries beside another victim.
You never saw this at other for when we were involved.
What we were shown next,
it is hell weird.
Even worse, in the basement of this building, in which Russian forces looked to have squatted for weeks.
I'm not trying to make a conspiracy about it. I just find it interesting. I have seen more footage of dead bodies this week than I've ever seen at any war ever. Especially buildings and all kinds of stuff. And I'm not saying that it doesn't justifies it in any capacity or anything like that. I'm just saying this is just weird. I've been paying attention to Putin for 25 years. Oh, wow. What is happening is biblical. It certainly seems like it. I just feel like at every point I'm just like, there's a resurrection. I mean, there's a revelation.
He's in the street. Ukraine has opened up criminal investigations here. Tatiana Volodymyrivna says Russian soldiers broke into her home and dragged her and her husband out. Her husband disappeared for 2 weeks. She says she found his body.
They want you to see this stuff. Yeah, exactly. Well, they have. That's why Zelensky went out. And again, I'm not I would understand if I was in Zelensky's position, I'd be doing the same thing. I'd be emotionally pleading as much as possible to save my country's life. End of story. But you don't see anybody in Yemen doing a video at the Grammys. You don't see that kind of stuff. But here we get everything.
Brought us to what looks like the grave
the hastily dug grave of what they say is the family of the local mayor here. They didn't agree to cooperate with the Russians, they say, so they were executed.
The mayor was Olga Sukenko, and Ukrainians say she was tortured, her arms and fingers broken, her husband and young son allegedly kidnapped by Russian soldiers more than 2 weeks ago. Their bodies...
Oh, no, Mika.
...mines are buried nearby.
No, we did not.
Volodymyr Zelensky visited Bucha today. He's been the face of his country's resistance, now the voice of their outrage. These are war crimes, and they'll be recognized by the world as genocide, he said. You are here today and can see what happened. A shaken Zelensky accusing Russian forces of killing thousands of Ukrainians, torturing victims.
Interesting. I haven't even gone down that path.
Children. Today, after learning about the horrors of Bucha, President Biden vowed more sanctions for Russia, saying Putin should be tried for war crimes.
He is a war criminal. This guy is brutal. And what's happening in Bucha is outrageous. And everyone's seen.
Wait, where'd you get that information from?
Reveals the horrors near Kyiv.
Who's your source?
Compound the misery. Bodies lay in front of a playground in Kharkiv as the city's exhausted residents clean up after what seems to be never-ending shelling. And in Mariupol, a wasteland. More than 100,000 people are still living in this, almost entirely cut off from the outside world. Residents dig graves for their neighbors in the streets. Even getting water means risking their lives.
Always the poor people lose out in the end, every single time.
Site residents welcome. Forces.
Okay, yeah. It was always going to lead up to that, Mika.
Saying, if something is needed, come to us.
Anything to make Biden look strong, they are going to take that chance, no matter what. No matter what, because he's doing so poor.
You and the team witnessed today James Longman now back in the capital of Kyiv for us tonight. James, you heard the White House saying new sanctions on Russia are coming.
This is live. I'm about to switch it to
Russia
something
tonight
else.
saying those horrific scenes you just reported on out of Bucha were staged. That was the word they used. But of course, you witnessed this brutal reality today firsthand.
Well, there was nothing staged about what we saw today, David. And what struck me was the futility of it. There didn't seem to be any strategy there, no reason for these deaths, just apparently murder or retribution. And that's the story of this war, a huge, pointless miscalculation, and the results are only heartache. And the great fear, David, is that as more territory is regained, more of these atrocities are going to be uncovered.
Which is why it's...
Sanctions have destroyed Europe. Yeah, exactly. And it'll destroy us in some ways and other nations. And that's why all of them, like, I thought India was our friend. You never know.
Suburbs of Kyiv. But what the Pentagon believes, the U.S. believes they will be focused on next. So for that part of the story tonight, let's bring in our chief global affairs anchor, Martha Raddatz, tonight. Martha, first, these images, it's almost impossible to even describe what we just witnessed there. The president...
Can I just... Isn't it funny? Isn't it funny that the young guy is in the studio and the elderly lady is in the cold rain in a jacket by herself? It's liberal media for you. We just pretend to be super woke. Biden is crooked as, yeah. Yeah, he's...
President saying Putin should be tried.
I mean, we did, Mika, we remember that video we showed earlier about Biden talking about how he used to be a truck driver? He immediately started going into it, stopped himself because he knows everyone's called him out on the lie, but he almost went through it anyways because he doesn't care. He doesn't care. He'll say whatever comes to his mind anytime he wants.
Tried for war crimes now. The White House saying late
and that's
today.
why they hate him so much. That's why, you know, Jensaki's leaving because they just can't deal with him and how he just goes off the cuff. UK gas prices going up 50%. Jeez. Ukraine probably owns by, of course. You mean the Bidens. DEFCON, what up? How much food you going to have prepped for? So I have 3 months. I have 3 months prepped. I'm thinking about doing 3 more months. I honestly started picking up some canned goods over the last couple of months. So I have like a bunch of rice though at home. Like I think I have like 5 pounds of rice. Not 5 pounds. Sorry. That is not that much. I have like a bunch of Costco bags of rice. So if push comes to shove, I'm there. But and I have a bow. So I'll go to the woods and get me something to eat if it all gets down to it. Biden is the biggest problem. It's almost on purpose, it feels like, doesn't it?
That this was not some rogue actor. This was Russia's policy playing out in Ukraine.
Exactly, David. The Pentagon, the White House saying they are absolutely certain this was not some random act of violence by renegade Russian troops taking things into their own hands. The National Security Advisor, Jake Sullivan, saying this was part of Russia's plan.
Stock up on seeds. I live in an apartment complex like a loser, so I have nowhere to plant those things. I'm part of the generation of kids that the housing market just got out of control of the place I moved to.
Which obviously is a...
It freaking sucks.
Ukraine, but obviously...
I'm like ready to pull the trigger on the house, but I'm at this point, they're just too high. They're just so ridiculously high. They will be the first thing you won't be able to get.
Forcing after the Ukrainians took back dozens of towns and villages around the capital. It's clear the Russian plan
I
to
should still get some?
Kyiv
Okay, done. Ammo and seeds, huh?
are expected to move south.
Where do you get seeds from? Do you get them at a special place?
Of tanks in the battle around Kyiv and elsewhere, but they still have hundreds and hundreds of tanks left, and this is expected to be a long and deadly couple of weeks. David?
Martha Raddatz with us live tonight. Martha, our thanks to you and James, our coverage of the war in Ukraine tonight.
Yeah, I'm in deep on some bits.
No history. 6 people killed, 12 injured. There is still an urgent manhunt underway tonight.
Oh, just at the grocery store? I didn't know if you had a special place where you go out and get seeds.
Tonight, at least one suspect is in custody after a mass shooting
heirloom
that left
seeds.
6 dead and another 12 wounded in downtown Sacramento. Police arresting 26-year-old Dondre Martin on charges of assault and illegal firearm possession.
We are certainly
so
looking
it's
into
illegal.
his role into the shooting.
Make it more illegal. Next time this won't happen. God. You can buy seeds. All right. I'll save that for last. Look at this book report I saw the other day. All right. This book report written by a kid got an F. It's easily one of the greatest things I've read on the internet in a while. I don't know if you guys saw this. It was being passed around everywhere. But it's a book report on John F. Kennedy. And the teacher wrote, "Adam, you're better than this. F." And it goes as such by Adam G. JFK served as our 35th president of the United States. He was born in Massachusetts in 1917. And then this part, the teacher circled, "Not relevant." The same year, Houdini was buried alive, which was like, wow, what a cool fact. I would have loved that as a teacher. Then he goes on. He liked women a lot. So when Jackie was away, he would host secret sex parties in the Oval Office where famous women would get naked and dance for the president. One night on his birthday, Marilyn Monroe came in to sing Happy Birthday very seductively. They had sex after making him the coolest president ever. He really liked driving in convertible cars, which wasn't such a good idea in 1963. He was shot by a man who must have hated Marilyn Monroe. The teacher crossed it out and wrote not wrong. What a freaking jerk. What the worst teacher ever. I would give this kid an A+. A, because any kid this age, any kid that writes a paper that makes it enjoyable to read deserves an A. Because kids these age write crap papers, as I used to grade them all the time. This is an incredible paper. Yes, there are things that are not relevant, but some of that relevance is a fun fact, fun thing. They had sex and made him the coolest president ever. He really liked driving in convertible cars, which wasn't a good idea. Oh, the kid is the most incredible kid I've ever met or read about in my entire life. Adam got robbed. Poor Adam. Oh, Adam's the freaking best. All right. Kind of want to see a little bit of this. So, what would you guys have given Adam? Crab in a bucket teacher. Exactly. Teachers like that are the reason I left education, because they just have a stick up their butt for no reason. Give that kid an A, or give him a B+. I don't care. And talk to him and write on the bottom, say this is like one of the most fascinating and fun papers I've read in a long time. You're killing a kid's creativity completely. And that kid was like me. I would write papers like that where I would just go above and beyond to make it interesting for the reader. And that's why I do what I do now. So that kid is going to grow up to be me. Are you guys interested in the war in Ethiopia? Because I am. I don't know. Watch a little bit of it. We'll check it out.
Of Abilene.
Nothing. Are you guys familiar with the war in Europe with the Tigray people and Liberation Front and all that stuff? They've been fighting for so long. I'm not the most familiar about it. I've been reading a little bit about it, but devastating and sad what's happening in this region that no one talks about. Mika gives them an A++ for great work. Exactly. Even if it was a PG-13 paper. I don't know how old that kid is. But saying that he had sex with Marilyn Monroe, which made him the best president ever. It reminds me of a previous president we had that did something similar. Sure. Freaking hate ads. Killing me, Smalls. You're freaking killing me. That reminds me. If you're looking to be an ad on this show, go ahead and send me an email to derekochet@gmail.com.
The BBC has found evidence that Russian...
You know, this is what happens when you go to live shows.
The BBC has found evidence that Russian troops have been forced to pull back from...
Gosh. We were just watching. The world is definitely not going to end. Good.
Held since the start of the war.
What just happened? What just happened? Did I just lose it? You know. Oh, my gosh.
The BBC has found evidence that Russia...
Story of my life. You know, people. You can't win them all. Okay.
Most of the fighting is now in the northern state of Amhara between government-backed forces and Tigrayan fighters. We were in...
I apologize. As we know, they're doing... There'll be great changes, but it's certainly not ending. I know this because God won't be making it easy for that easy for me. Yeah. I don't think it's gonna end either. In fact, you and I, the people, Mika, Killer T-Cell, DEFCON, all my peeps, we're fighters, and people like us will survive. We'll do whatever it takes to survive. It ain't gonna end. It might be uncomfortable, and there's going to be a lot of people who aren't ready, and a lot of people who aren't taking any of this seriously and think like, oh, because it's a social media age, because I live in New York, or because I live in Chicago, like, I don't have to think about this stuff. Things are just going to happen for me. There's going to be a lot of people that's going to have a little reality check soon, especially if the dollar continues not to hold up or goes down. I don't know what's going to happen with the petrodollar, and the world's coming together. It's interesting to see that China they're trying to stay neutral right now. And I can't believe, I thought by now they've taken over Taiwan. So, I don't know. It's going to get awkward for turtles. Awkward turtle. You can win me all. You can win me all if you change. Yeah. Dollar's going down, ruble's going up. I did see the ruble is back up to its pre-war level. That being said, it's still not amazing, but of course, sanctions didn't work. Imagine that. Imagine Joe Biden, what he proposed was a good solution to slow down war or halt war, only made stuff worse for me and you.
Invited to this town near the front lines by Abi's government.
People like me who are like ready to buy a home, and the economy, like people like BlackRock and all these major corporations like Vanguard and all that crap are buying up homes and paying double, and people moving from California paying double and outpricing me constantly. And no one talks about that. No one gives a crap. You know, all these companies that are buying up our homes, they'll get bailed out if you know the housing market collapses because they're too big to fail. All this bull crap as if we're in some real capitalist society. What a freaking joke that is. I love when my leftist friends and people on the left always talk about how America is this evil capitalist corporation. I'm like, we're not capitalists. We're not. We're like pretend capitalists. it's by design. The Great Reset. Yeah. ESG. We talk about ESG all the time. Social credit score. Better be in line. We have a cartoonist president. People laugh at us for millennia. I know. I post content all the time for like on TikTok and talk to people from other countries, and they just talk about how it's at the point now where it's just like sad to see where America is. Some serious misspelling there. I meant you can win all the time if you cheat. Look at you. Yeah. Not only that, it's not even cheating. It's also the corporate media and what do they call it? Fortifying the election all went down. So when the major corporations take Twitter, Facebook, corporate media all band together and say we're going for this guy and we'll do whatever it takes for him to win, that's not okay. If that's not meddling in our election, I don't know what is. This idea that Russia's meddling. Like, no, Google, you're meddling. They mock us with these clown pop. Yeah, we are a corporation. Yeah, we were basically just one big corporation, right? It's all staged. Illusion of choice. God, if that doesn't hit home, I don't know what is. I know. All my friends that are very excited about the red wave, I get it. But this idea that some of these Republicans are going to come in and make a difference, you haven't been paying attention. Maybe some, and the ones that are going to make a difference, they're going to be hated. And the media is going to do nothing but talk crap about them all day long and come up with fake scandals and all kinds of crap like that. Those people are the people I trust. The minute the people are like accepted by New York Times, like Lindsey Graham and all that crap, I'm from South Carolina. I don't live there anymore, but I'm from there, and I voted for him a couple times because I felt like I had to vote for him, or that meant a Democrat win. But at this point, it's like this guy needs to go. He's got to go. I don't care who wins at this point. Klaus Schwab is mongering. Yeah. My brother-in-law loves Klaus Schwab. My sister's husband. He loves him. And I get into big arguments with him about that guy. He's a big business dude. Oh, my gosh. I'm a delegate going to kick the tire. You're a delegate? Going to kick the tires, light the fires. Satanic cult really running the world? Seems like it. It's the most secretive organization that you're not allowed to talk about. It's so freaking weird. No, he loves him. He loves him. He thinks his business ideas are great. And he's a very smart dude. And so, but it's just like, what about, I'll show him like clips of things he'll say, and I'm like, how do you defend this? Let's go. I don't know. I can't believe you said that. Like, okay. You just can't believe he said that, huh? Is that's how we deal with stuff? Isn't the worst dealing with family members who just don't get it? They're not on our level. Sometimes my family is like, Derek, I can't go down that route with you right now. I'm just like, I get it. I don't want to. We don't have to talk about that now. But the Klaus Schwab thing is destroying me. And you're right. It seems like it's a plan. At this point, we have like some of the worst politicians I've ever seen in my life. They just can't even speak well. I'm pro-programming people's DNA to show up the feeling in external basis. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think my brother-in-law actually likes ESG too, because he's like, it makes it easier for businesses to be able to capitalize on you. I'm like, exactly. How is that a good thing? That's not a good thing. They should not know who I am. God. They don't need to know what I'm going to buy before I buy. I hate that feeling. Just like, I'm too close to my technology if I'm at this case.
No idea it was coming. In Shreveport, Louisiana, at Queensboro Leadership Academy, Principal Marco French.
Hi, David.
Principal French on the power of education.
We have what it takes to make those great, awesome things happen for our students.
Isn't it like North Korea, the only country not in central banking system? North Korea, are they the only ones? Now you're making me wonder. I feel like that might be right. China's got to have some kind of like stipulations with that, though. They got to have like central banking, but I don't know. Interesting. I bet you're right. I have some family to work with the CIA. Oh my God, work with the CIA and they're stupid. I'm not even joking. I have family member to work in secret ops and the Pentagon and stuff like that too that I'm not allowed to talk about that I just did, but I'm not allowed to ask him questions all the time. I almost went that route. I was this close to working intelligence, but I didn't. I decided to do this crap. What an idiot. Iran, Syria. Okay, that makes sense. Iran and Syria. You know, places we hate.
The most powerful stories of our time, anytime. Nightline. Now streaming on ABC News Live 20.
Do you guys see this video? The new Island Boys? It's fire. They got 4 now.
I'm just trying to make it. Oh, I'm just island boy. I'm just island boy. I'm just keep that gun. Tell boy keep that gun. I'm gonna do it while I'm staring.
I am a double agent.
Got over here with the 4th island boy, and I'm the 4th island boy. I'm the 4th island boy, and I'm just trying to make it, but everybody hate me. I'm the 4th island boy, and I'm trying to make it.
We're progressing as a civilization. No, my stepmom's family. Oh, okay. Dude, I am at. And you could have been inside the man. I know. I could have been inside. I decided not to. I know all that. Not allowed to talk about stuff. And yeah. I get like phone calls sometimes of like, what have you heard about this? And I'm like, nothing. And if I did, I wouldn't tell you. I want to see if there's like any. My ancestors weep. Yeah, God, they're the worst. I can't believe they're a thing. See if there's any hot new clips. I went to school with law enforcement. For law enforcement, refused to stop smoking grass. Yeah, that was my problem too. You know, it happens to the best of us, Mika. You know, it's like you're allowed to work in the government, but you can't have your freedom. They're trash minds for youth. Yeah, I know. They're the worst. Oh. Sean Hannity talking about Biden's decline. It's such an obvious talking point, but I guess it has to be said.
You know, and what do you make of the president, for example? I thought his trip.
Oh, my God. Sean Hannity, the minute he starts talking, he always goes into his list. He's like, what do you think of the president? And his trip to this, and he did this, and then he did that, and then he did this, and then also did this. Thoughts? Watch, he'll do a list. I guarantee it. I haven't even seen this clip. I just feel it.
You know, and what do you make of the president, for example? I thought his trip abroad was a disaster, telling our troops, oh, you'll get to see it in Ukraine yourself, revealing that our troops, America might be training Ukrainian troops. I doubt that's something that maybe we wanted the world to know or Vladimir Putin to know. I would consider that in the covert operation plausible deniability category. Then calling for regime change only to be corrected by his own staff as they clean up his mess, and then to double down and do it again after they cleaned up the mess, and now there's no way to clean it up this time on top of every other gaffe that he makes. Your reaction? I don't think he's cognitively up to this job, Senator, and it's dangerous.
I don't think Sean Hannity knows how to ask a question. Like, what the frick, dude? Just ask a question. Do you think Joe Biden's doing okay? Your thoughts? God.
Look, it's gaffe after gaffe after gaffe.
Can we stop calling Joe Biden's gaffes? Because gaff, I know what it means, but it makes me feel like it's just This is a little slip up. These aren't slip ups. This is a serious issue that should be talked about. Period. Pussy poops his pants. And I want to know what kind of diapers he recommends.
And the White House team desperately tries to keep
Is it
him
a
away from
gap
public
or
scrutiny.
is he in a cognitive decline?
Exactly. Is it a gaffe or is it a cognitive decline? Thank you.
Seems to me obvious.
Yeah, look, he's clearly in major.
Michael Savage always called Shannon Hannity a wall banger because he used to work as. Cruz promise is compromised. Oh God, yeah. I used to think Cruz was like awesome, but every time he talks, he just feels fake to me. For one, he has his little moments where I'm like, yeah, Cruz, get him, but then I don't know. He's like Lindsey Graham. He just goes back into his shell after a while.
Decline. I can tell you it's strange. Biden, they don't allow him to talk to most Republican senators. When we have lunch together, Republican senators, almost to a person, none of us have spoken to him since he became president. That's weird. Look, Joe Biden swore me into office 10 years ago. We all know him. He served in the Senate for 4 decades. But the White House is terrified that anyone who interacts with him realizes he's not up to the task. So they keep him protected. They keep him on talking points.
At least Cruz tries. He's one of the most convincing globalists. Yeah.
They give him a narrow script, and even that, he's screwed.
Isn't that the definition of Republicans, though? At least they try. They're just, they're the best stumbling blocks ever. Road bumps, whatever you want to call them.
Up, and you've got this war in Ukraine. Joe Biden.
Everyone is even more afraid of those who are second in line to. I'm more afraid. I don't want Joe Biden impeached because I know what that means. Unless it means it's like a threefold. If it goes in the line of Joe Biden, Kamala, and Pamela, Nancy Pelosi. Let's call her Pamela Anderson for some reason. What the frick? Yeah. Take out Joe Biden. Okay, we have Kamala and Nancy Pelosi. No. It's called controlled opposition. Yeah.
Caused this war in Ukraine. How did he do it? When he waived sanctions on Nord Stream 2, sanctions that I authored, that I wrote, that Donald Trump signed into law. When he waived those sanctions, he let Putin build the natural gas pipeline to get his gas to Europe, which is why Putin invaded Ukraine. The president of Ukraine told us the reason Putin invaded Ukraine is because of Nord Stream 2. And I got to say, Sean, it's an amazing thing that there's one pipeline and one pipeline on planet Earth that Joe Biden and his cronies like, and that's Nord Stream 2 because it helped Vladimir Putin. But if there are pipelines in America that create jobs here at home, they want to shut them all down.
It's not even the pipelines. It's like the leases. It's the constant rhetoric towards oil companies. And then the oil companies going, oh, okay, I guess we'll have to switch to green energy, so we're not going to invest in our infrastructure and invest in like drilling anymore. And that's where we're at now. I just like, it's like it's so many things combined, Democrats and Republicans. Oh, that's so true. What a crazy night, guys. The fourth island boy. That's where we're at. 4. It's insane and demonic to break in reality that gets you. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm starting to feel like, man.
Son allegedly kidnapped by Russian soldiers more than 2 weeks ago.
We're at such a crazy time to be alive. Like, every time
today.
Every time, like I'm going to a family member's wedding in a week, and I just thought, like a month ago, I was like, I bet I won't even have to go, because of like World War III popping off. Like, and when I was hearing Biden talk about it was going to take months, I just never thought, as far as like this Ukraine war, I just never thought that would be true. Here we are.
This guy is brutal.
So much about this war makes no sense. It's amazing that our intelligence community has gotten so much right about this war when they get so much wrong about everything else. So it makes you wonder, like, how? I don't know. 50% chance those Eastern Ukrainians were killed by Ukraine. Well, there's that too. I almost said it out loud. I didn't say it, YouTube. I mean, at this point, I honestly, I don't know what to believe. I don't know. You know, especially with like Azov Battalion and stuff like that. I just don't know. And you're seen as like some kind of pro-Putin person the minute you just say, I don't know what to believe. You're just like, oh, okay. I see what you mean. Wait, the Island Blinders won a Grammy? No. They won a Grammy on TikTok. They probably gave themselves a Grammy.
And those scenes so hard to watch, but at the same time so hard to look away. James Longman joins us now back in Kyiv again. And James, the White House...
Again, these wartime reporters with way too good of hair. What's going on? How much action are you seeing, bro?
Today.
Yeah, Lindsay, look, there was nothing staged about...
Yeah, Lindsay, look. Oh, God.
What were likely young men. Just
50%, I'm thinking more like 80. Well...
area where you saw that we went down to the basement.
YouTube 22, how dare you... Exactly. But yeah, it's okay to punch a Nazi in their face, though.
Around us, there was just...
As long as they're right-wing extremists.
Oh, like I say, cars smashed up. They had...
All right, guys, it's been fun. It's been real fun. I've had a lot of fun with you guys. I appreciate you guys in the chat. Killer T-Sale, Mika, DEFCON. I appreciate you guys killing the game. And America First and Sexy Groove, all you guys in my chat. I appreciate you guys so much for hanging out with me. Stayed a little bit later because I was having so much fun with you guys. Wait, there isn't an American general POW that's saying they're being held by the Russian. There's the but I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Again, I'll go live on Wednesday again. Probably have some stuff coming out tomorrow. Look out for that. Tell your friends and family about the Derek O'Shea Show. It's the only way it will grow is through you. And I appreciate you guys so much. It means a lot to me that you're hanging out with me. I love you. I'm going to do my commercial break. So silly at the end. If you feel inclined to give, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/Derek O'Shea Show and support the show. I appreciate you guys. Love you guys. See you on Wednesday. Same time, same station. And if you missed the beginning of the show, it was a good one, I think. Or it totally sucked. I don't know. Have a good night, guys. I love you guys. Bye. My fellow Americans, it's me, Joe Byron. Make sure to support Derek O'Shea by going to buymeacoffee.com/Derek O'Shea. Easily one of my least favorite YouTubers of all time. And all you have to do is go down here, buy him a coffee, support his show, or even join as a member. $3 a month, that's all it costs. And you could be a big-time supporter of his show. He's a good guy, but he's a piece of crap, and I hate him for that. I hope you have a great day, and as always, let's go get ice cream, and I need to get my sniff on.